Hey guys, Mike here. So today's cult classic review is 1990's Tremors, starring Kevin Bacon as Valentine McKee. In Tremors, natives of a small town defend themselves against strange underground creatures that are picking them off one by one. And so we have Tremors. So guys, this is a movie in the series that before reviewing it and watching it today, I had not seen it before. And honestly, I hadn't really heard many people talk about this one. I've known about this movie for quite a while, but I've never really heard many people talk it up saying it's great, it's a cult classic or anything like that. But still, it's on the poster, so let's talk about it. The first thing that I really quite liked about Tremors, which I thought really helped push the story along a lot quicker, was the fact that the townspeople don't spend all their time just denying the fact that this is happening. They're not all there constantly saying like, oh, these things don't exist. What are you talking about? You must be crazy. More or less right away, as soon as they get their first piece of evidence, they start taking the whole thing completely seriously. Which I thought was a nice change of pace from the regular people who just constantly deny the whole thing's happening. And as well, I really did like the creature designs as well. They're not exactly the most original monster designs out there, but the fact these creatures were all done with practical effects and they were quite intimidating. You know what really worked for the movie, I thought? Because if they made these creatures with CGI back in 1990, this movie would be incredibly dated. But because all the creatures were done with practical effects, they still look good to this day. And I really love the mind games between the creatures and the humans as well. Because the humans come up with creative ways to avoid the creatures, and the creatures come up with creative ways in order to trap the humans. And it didn't really feel like the humans were outsmarting the creatures at every turn. It felt like the creatures actually knew what was going on and how to adapt and overcome in the situation. But you know what? The cast in this movie, they were completely fine. No one really particularly stood out. Well, the only person who I'd say stood out to me was Kevin Bacon. That's only because he's the star and I've seen Kevin Bacon in loads of things. But you know what? I did like his performance in Tremors. He's your usual kind of take charge, heroic protagonist that you see in loads of movies like this. And you know what? Kevin Bacon's completely fine in that role. I'd say a lot of the humour in Tremors comes from the fact that it's sometimes quite over the top, especially with the two gun nut characters. There's a scene where two of them are being attacked by one of the creatures, and they unload an army's worth of ammo on them. They try basic rifles, doesn't work. They get the automatics out, it doesn't work. They get an elephant rifle out, and eventually they manage to kill the creature. And honestly, it was just a hilarious scene, because Tremors doesn't take itself too seriously, and I really think this lends itself to making it such an entertaining and fun movie. So guys, would I consider Tremors a personal cult classic, and would I recommend that you guys should see it? Honestly, I did enjoy this one, but I would not put it as a personal favourite at all. Though this movie was entertaining, I just don't think it offers enough to kind of go down as a favourite for me. As for recommending you guys to see it, honestly, I wouldn't recommend this as, you know, a solid watch. I wouldn't put my personal seal of approval on this and say Tremors is amazing. But I'd say, if you're interested in seeing it, then by all means watch it, because it's basically inoffensive. Okay guys, that's my cult classic review of Tremors. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Whatever you think, drop it in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Michael. See ya!